Hi everyone, here it's me, Romie. So I actually wanted to talk about something a little bit different from the usual borderline ratchetness that I talk about. I wanted to talk about school and college, but not just that. Here's the thing. There's a couple of things that you need to know or need to be reminded of. And one of the things is when you want to go to college or you're planning on going to college or you want your kids to go to college, student loans are crazy. And a lot of people get stuck with uh, variable loans versus fixed loans. For anyone who doesn't know, a variable loan is one that fluctuates with the market. So if interest rates go up by market standards, then most likely your loan will. Now, they all have caps, but still, it'll screw with you uh, years down the line. Because right now, the market is making the decision on when either if they're going to start the increase or start messing with the interest rates again or not, which they most likely will uh, relatively soon. And so it's really important that you decide what school you're going to and how much you actually want to take out. Because a lot of times people take out a certain amount of money to cover their tuition expenses, of course, books and all of that. And then also if you have a car, transportation, or general spending money. And then they usually have a couple of hundred, maybe like 2,000 left over. What you need to do with that extra money is start to pay back that loan. Because I know it sounds a little bit crazy because you just took the extra money out from the loan. But here's the thing, you do that so that just in case something happens, you have it. But you take a little bit of that money and you start paying down the interest, because while you're in school, the interest isn't accumulating. It's just already preset at whatever rate. So if it's at 8 or 9%, it's not going to change yet. Once you get out of school, that's when it gets crazy. So my first thing is make sure that you, one, choose a school that you really want to go to and it appeals to all of the different things that you're interested in, so that you can at least take courses, and if you even have to, switch your major to that or add it on to your major, so that you're not just pigeonholed in a degree that you have that didn't help you when you went out to try and get jobs because you found out you didn't want to do that career as far as working in it. Here's another thing. I talked about the amount that you take out and the fixed rates and the variable rates. Another thing with that is you have to make sure that you go to a school that's willing to invest in you. If your school or school that you're going to isn't willing to pay for part of your tuition, I honestly would say don't go, because if you're going to be taking out, let's say, $10,000-$15,000 a year for tuition to cover everything, well, 20, well, if you're not getting any type of scholarship, then it's more so like 20, 25, then you have to pay all of that back plus interest after school is over. And most likely, you'll either have a low paying job to start out with, or you might not have a job. That is also a possibility. So, my third thing is make sure that you go and actually get work experience while you're in school. I know it can be difficult, especially when you have a lot going on, but make sure you get work experience. I mean, something you could actually put on your resume and talk about in an interview. Because when you get out of school, part of the reason why you get that low paying job, or you might not be able to get that even low paying job in the degree that you went for, is because you don't have the usable experience. There's only a set number of positions for graduates where companies will go and make sure they have 3 or 4 jobs in each department, or maybe 2 jobs, or maybe just 1 job for someone who's just coming out of school, someone who's very green and eager to learn and who will learn quickly, because it benefits them in the long haul if they invest in you from the start, because we'll learn fast, and so we can hit the ground running. But there's a lot of cases where they'll say, you know what, we really need someone with this type of experience, with that type of experience. And it's like, wait a minute, I went to get the degree just so that I could go and potentially get this job. Now you're saying I actually need to have experience, but how am I supposed to get experience if you're not willing to give me the job? So that's why I say it's really important that you go and try, wherever you go, whatever you're doing, to also go and have internships. Do as many internships as you possibly can, because most likely where you're interning towards the end of your senior year is where you'll have your first job. That's normally how it works, or it'll help you get that other job that you really want when you first get out of school. So make sure you go to a college that aids in getting you internships, a college that has connections with other companies all around the country, in some cases internationally, because international business is also a huge area. But all of this is to say, make sure you understand how much you're taking out and realistically how much you will be able to pay back based on the average income of the person who gets the type of degree that you get and works in the type of field that you work in. Make sure you go to a school that's willing to invest in you by offering you a scholarship to either pay for most of it, if not all. That'd be amazing. For me, it was half. And that half saved me a lot. But still, now I have to go and pay back a lot of money. And this is, of course, over traditional 10 years. But also try to make sure you pay it back as soon as possible, because the longer you take to pay it back, the more you'll have to pay back. Especially since on average interest rates will go back up. So it's better to go and pay it back sooner than later, because instead of paying back, let's say in total it's around $80,000. That's similar to me because of interest. If you take longer, it could easily go to 90, 95, even 100,000, because now they're doing it based off of your total that you have to pay back spread over, let's say, 10 years. So if you decide, you know what, I'm going to push it back, and it takes me 15, 20 years, you're giving them an extra $10,000 to $15,000, and you don't even realize it. So that's why I say make sure you pay it back as soon as you possibly can. So cut a little bit here, cut a little bit there. Understand they say save, invest. You can do a little bit of that, but the bulk of your money should be going towards paying back those loans, because that'll also help with your credit. Nothing builds up your credit faster besides 2 things: getting credit cards and regularly using them and paying them down or off, and student loans. Because student loans, creditors see that as automatically a large amount of debt, and see as a young person you're able to pay it off or consistently make payments and not have a problem with paying with everything else that you have, then that means, okay, I can go and give this person a car, or lease them a car or whatever, because they can actually hold down a job. They can also pay their student loans each month and do everything else they need to do. So yeah, a car and paying $300 or $400 extra a month for a car, yeah, that's doable instead of having a cosigner. So those were my multitude of tips for, if you're planning on going to college. Oh, and this video is going to be super long, but one more thing is, make sure you start early before you even get to college. Make sure that you do things while you're in high school that will aid you into getting into the college that you want to. Because sometimes SAT scores aren't enough. You need some type of extracurricular activity because you need to be able to show that you're able to balance multiple things at once. That's what that's all about. So there you go. Those are my tips. Leave a comment below saying if you agree with them or not, or extra tips you have for other people. And like, comment, subscribe, and thank you.